Welcome back to my park movie world. My name is Game World, and in today's video, we're going to be touring this Harry Potter themed area. So let's get into it. The first thing that I built in Diagon Alley, we have Ollivander's Wand Shop. Hold on, pause. This is future Game World. I just want to let you know that I built Diagon Alley mainly off screen. This is because back then when I started this project about a year ago now, I did not have the courage to post anything on YouTube. But I wish I did record Diagon Alley back then. But I can't really dwell on the past, so I guess sit back and relax and let's get back to this tour. For the wand shop, I built multiple different wands like Harry's wand, Ron's, and Hermione's, as well as a few other characters like Voldemort and Dumbledore. You can see the different wands that I built here in this game on this little wand display shelf. If you want to know how I built these wands, I basically made them bigger and then put all the little details in before I shrank them down to the size that you see here. If you want to see that, I have a short posted on my channel, so go check that out. The second thing that I built in this store is the boxes that the wands come in, which is what you get when you buy the wands. This is based off of Universal Studios Hollywood as well as Epic Universe, but more or less Universal Studios Hollywood since that's the park that I've been to, and the park that I'm resembling these boxes. There's not really much else I built in the store other than I guess I built these shelves housing some like little wand display holders here. Other than that, let's move on to the next thing that I built inside of Diagon Alley. The second thing that I built inside of Diagon Alley is this candy store, which is not part of the Harry Potter universe and it was kind of my own thing called Magic Sweet and Treats. There's nothing really too special because it's more of a filler building because I didn't really know what to put in here. But there are a few things in here like candy display areas as well as the candy dispensers where you can get your candy and stuff placed on the shelf. But nothing too special, so let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing that I built inside of Diagon Alley is the Hogwarts Express, which I did by building it on a separate theme park and then transferring it over by blueprint into this park. I also built a tender for the Hogwarts Express, but I hid it behind a building because I wanted to add the alleyway of the entrance into Diagon Alley. Anyway, back to the Hogwarts Express. For the Hogwarts Express, I also added this station platform around the Hogwarts Express to make it look like it's more part of the Diagon Alley area and doesn't look like it's just floating in a part of Diagon Alley. It's not the actual station from the Harry Potter movie, but it will definitely do for my part. Moving on from the Hogwarts Express, we get to our first ride called Motorbikes Journeys. This is based off of the ride from the Harry Potter world at Universal Studios Orlando. So, let's get into the queue, which we get to by going through this teleporter. For the queue, for this ride, I decided to base it off of two movies, starting with the Chambers of Secrets. From the Chambers of Secrets, I decided to choose two scenes, starting with the spider scene, where Harry and Ron are running out of a forest away from spiders. In my park, I decided to do spiders running along the walls of this hallway, or for sticking with Harry Potter terms, this corridor. The second scene that I chose is also from the Chambers of Secrets, and this is the final room inside of the Chambers of Secrets, where Harry is met with a ton of snake statues, leading him to the final battle against the giant snake. Anyway, moving on, we go down this hallway or corridor into the final room of this queue, before going to Hogwarts Castle. For this room, I decided to base it off of a scene from Harry Potter Half-Blood Prince. This is the scene where Malfoy is in Borgin and Burke's and sending stuff through the Vanishing Cabinet. So, as we go through this teleporter, it leads us to the rest of the queue, which is Hogwarts Castle. Anyway, from here, we then go into Hogwarts Castle. That leads us into the Great Hall. This is a smaller version of the Great Hall from the movie, since the Great Hall in the movie is so big, and I don't have a whole lot of room to build that in my park. I also built this cool night sky above here, giving it more of a magic feel from the Harry Potter universe. This is nothing too special during the day, but at night this looks really cool. From here, we then move up this spiral staircase, leading us to more of Hogwarts Castle, and down these stairs, which then leads us down more stairs into this magical forest. I did something really interesting in this area by making it look like a magical forest has grown in this room. And as you walk down this queue, you will also see that Hagrid's motorbike is right here. As you know by now, this is more based off of the Hagrid's motorbike ride that you could find at Universal Studios Orlando, which will have a ride-on POV of this ride, so stick around to the very end to see it. Well, with that, we move down this not-so-detailed corridor or hallway into this teleporter that leads us to the next thing that I built, which is Nocturne Alley. For Nocturne Alley, I didn't do anything too special since I didn't have a whole lot of room to build this. This is because it's sandwiched between my Hagrid's motorbike ride and the other themed area that I have in this park. This I built in my 4th episode in my Movie World series. But the one thing that stuck out in this area is definitely Borgin and Burke. That is more of a creative liberty since I didn't have room to build this building. Like I said, this area is definitely very small. As you can see here, it's a very skinny area. But for Borgin and Burke, I kinda gave it more of a spooky interior look to give it the look that it could be a shop that sells dark magic. However, I guess from here, we're kinda moving backwards, because Gringotts Bank is something I built in episode 1 of my Movie World series. So I guess, let's get into the next thing that I built inside of Diagon Alley, Gringotts Bank. So, let's get into explaining what I did with Gringotts Bank. For Gringotts Bank, I didn't put the sign in for this bank in my park since building signs that curves in this game is really difficult with the images, so I didn't place it. However, you can tell this is Gringotts Bank because of all the weird curved walls on this building. For the second episode, I built the dragon that sits on top of Gringotts Bank, as you can see here. I also built a very cool flame effect that you have to stick around to the very end of the video to see. Now the one thing I found very difficult when I was building this dragon, if you're deciding to build a dragon in your park, is the wings. This is because of how complex the wings are. But eventually I was able to figure out. You have to do the skeleton first and then do the inside of the wing. As you can also see, there's a very cool look of Hogwarts Castle in the background. Moving on out of Diagon Alley now, as we walk down this alleyway into Hogsmeade. For Hogsmeade, I built a lot of different details, different stores like the 3 broomsticks based off of the Harry Potter movies, as well as this ride called Flight of the Dark Forest. Sadly, I really wanted to do another episode in my Hogsmeade area, but a lot of those files got corrupted, so sadly I can't do that anymore. But let me explain what I built in this area, starting off with this restaurant called the Cauldron, which is more of a quick and go style restaurant. Over here I also added a gift shop called Gift Shop. I kinda ran out of names, so that's why it's called Gift Shop. In this shop I added some witches and wizards hats, as well as some wands that you can purchase over here on this shelf. I also added 3 brooms that are Harry's, Ron's, and Malfoy's broom. Moving on, we go over here to the 3 broomsticks. This restaurant is based off of the Harry Potter movies, where Harry, Ron, and Hermione go and drink butterbeer while they're at Hogsmeade. For my 3 broomsticks restaurant, I didn't do anything too special, just some tables and chairs, as well as some brooms hanging on the wall. From here though, let's move on to the next area, which is Dark Forest area. That leads you out of the Hogwarts area over here. For this area, there's a couple special things, like the flying car from the Harry Potter movie. However, I'll probably rebuild this in like a YouTube short, because this is definitely not looking too cool, and I can definitely do a better job at it. However, over here we have Hagrid's hut, as you can see here. Moving on to this area, which is the exit out of the Harry Potter area, is this log or tree that looks like it's fallen over the path, with some very cool branches leading out of it and supports that support the coaster. But as you exit out of the Harry Potter area, it then leads you to the next themed area. But I'm not going to explain too much of what that is, because you have to stick around to the next couple episodes to figure out what this area is. But here's a little hint of what this area might be. So, I guess that is all I have to say for this tour. But I'm going to say something that I don't really say in my videos. This is, please like and subscribe if you like this video, because a lot of you who will watch my videos are not subscribed yet. And if you subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Anyway, Enjoy the next 5 minutes of the cinematic preview of this themed area, as well as the ride POVs for these coasters. And I'll see you in the next one, where hopefully we'll continue the Movie World series, or I'll start something even more amazing. But I guess you have to stick around to find out. So I guess, until then, bye for now.